guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk to you about something that really intrigued me from a video that I saw on Books and Quill's channel. She did a video called How Do Book Covers Work, and she was talking about how the publishing industry decides on book covers and, you know, the kinds of decision making that goes into it and targeting certain people. And then she shared some of the books that she had bought for their covers. And so I wanted to look at my shelves and see what books I had purchased based on their covers. And while I don't just straight up buy books based on their covers often, I do like to walk around bookstores or just browse books in general, and covers are usually the first thing that draw my attention. I do usually read the first page or read the description or something before buying a book, because I don't hardly ever buy a book based just on its cover, but it can be something that draws me into a book and is the reason I pick something up. So the first one might come as a little bit of a surprise because the cover itself is really not that interesting, but the point I wanted to make by showing you this one is that the reason I picked this book up was based on its cover looking kind of like the covers of another series that I really enjoy. So that was the Queens Handmaiden, and it looks a lot like the covers of Lauren Willig's Pink Carnation series. So if you can see, they're very similar, and that's really what drew me to this book, because I had just finished one of these and the rest of them weren't out, and I really wanted to find something kind of like this because that's what I was in the mood for. And so I ended up picking a book that had a similar cover design, which is, I think, sort of what they were going for. So it wasn't necessarily even by the same publisher, but this style of book cover is pretty common in this genre, and so I knew when I was picking this up that I was going to get something that was probably in the same feel as this one, and that's why I ended up picking this up, and I did end up really loving this book. Another book that has a similar style like that but was not picked up because I had read that book, because I actually didn't pick up the Pink Carnation series until after I read this one, and I feel like this book might have been why I picked up the Pink Carnation series, but I don't remember because both of those I picked up quite a while ago. But I'm talking about the Great and Terrible Beauty, which is the Gemma Doyle series, and I kept seeing this book actually on the audiobook section at Barnes & Noble, and for some reason I was just so drawn to this cover, and I didn't pick it up for a while, but when I finally was like, alright, I want to see what this is about, and I picked it up, I read the back of it and thought this is exactly the kind of thing that I would like, and so I picked it up. But I was initially drawn to its cover just because for some reason I just love this cover. And then I think I went on from these to pick up the first book in the Pink Carnation series because they were, I want to say they were like side by side or something, but the cover styles, I don't know, for some reason this, and at the time that I was reading this and the first book in the Pink Carnation series, this kind of cover drew me in big time. So a couple of books that I'm going to show you at the same time because I picked them up because of this, just for the same reason, and that is The Grace Keepers and Magonia. So both of these books have like beautiful metallic covers and are just gorgeous books, and I really picked them up because I liked to look at them. And on top of that, I thought the story sounded interesting, and I had heard about both of these on BookTube, but if I'm being 100% honest, the book covers were really what drove me to actually pick them up because I wanted these in my collection. Now, I've read them both. I didn't really enjoy either of them. I thought they were both just okay. So it goes to show you that sometimes picking a book based on a beautiful cover doesn't always work out. So I feel like without these beautiful covers, they probably wouldn't get as much hype as they do. So, you know, there's that aspect of book covers. They can create hype by being beautiful, even though maybe the book doesn't deserve as much hype as it's getting. So the last book is one that you will be all too familiar with if you've been watching my channel for a little while, and that is We All Looked Up by Tommy Wallach. So this cover is just gorgeous. It is really unique, and I can honestly say that I was so drawn to it at Target that I sat down on the floor to read the description and the first page because I saw this cover and thought, I don't know what that book's about, but it looks really intriguing. And so this is one of those books that I absolutely would not probably have been drawn to without the cover. So I've seen other versions of this book with a different cover, and I really didn't think they were that engaging, and so I would have been missing out on a really good book if it hadn't been for this cover, because this is one of those books that I have not heard a ton of stuff about on BookTube, and I don't think that I would have even heard of it if I hadn't seen it in Target, and it ended up being my favorite book from last year, like my favorite book that I read last year. And so this is one of those instances where judging a book by its cover really worked out for me. And so I think that the thing to sort of take away from this, for me at least, is that sometimes judging a book by its cover works out and sometimes it doesn't, because I have definitely found books I wouldn't have picked up if they didn't have beautiful covers, or if they didn't have engaging covers, ones that really drew me in. But I've also picked up books because I thought they were beautiful, and yes, the description sounded really interesting, but didn't end up being nearly as interesting as their covers were. So it's a slippery slope. We all know, don't judge a book by its cover, but we all do it. I would love to hear some books that you picked up or that you were drawn to read the description of by their covers, if you want to leave that in the comments. And I would love to hear just your thoughts on judging a book by its cover or browsing books by their covers. Do you do it? Because I definitely do. Anyways, I look forward to having a discussion with you guys in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye!